Hilarious that Liverpool fans keep mentioning Arsenal. I thought you guys didn't care about Arsenal. Why are you guys watching our preseason games, counting down the days before the season starts? It's actually hilarious. As as for as for the game itself, I feel like there's too much negatives for no. It's a preseason game. The main reason for these games is for fitness and to get yourself and your team up to a certain level and standard. But all of a sudden, it's like, oh, Arsenal lose a preseason game, all hell breaks loose, and people are saying sack the manager, sell players, get rid of this guy, get rid of that guy, and then the overreaction from rivals. Don't forget, besides Arsenal and Manchester United, nobody else really gets the kind of heat we get off the back of any results. It's just sheer reactionary, waiting for Gyökeres to make a mistake. He gets two touches in a game in 20 minutes, and all of a sudden it's his fault that we didn't do something. It's a joke. But to talk about the actual game itself, Mikel Arteta and the boys out there are experimenting. It's preseason. That's what they're doing. They're putting players out there to see what they're capable of doing. And I felt like Mikel Arteta did and the boys did not really rotate too much. They left it for late. They rotated majority of the players in after the 77th mark. If you would have rotated maybe more after the 60th mark, it would have made we would have been able to see more from some of these guys. I thought early half, Miles Lewis-Skelly and Bukayo Saka were getting literally beaten up by some of these Spurs guys with the challenges they're putting in. I don't think you should have Spurs or Newcastle or Chelsea or Man United as preseason games. It just doesn't make sense. You're really not going to be able to have a preseason game where it's a friendly, where you're trying to practice and do what you're doing with these kind of teams. But no complaints overall. We get out of there with no injuries. A lot of these guys now can kind of test themselves against other Premier League teams in Newcastle and Spurs. And the goal that we conceded, it's not like they broke us apart and it was a beautiful piece of
Yeah, that
football.
was just
It was a sloppy goal that we conceded from the goalkeeper coming out. Sweeping the ball and passing it into midfield, and Mazu Skelly has to maybe be a little bit better. Maybe he got fouled, whatever you want to say. Either way, it wasn't like they opened us up and scored a beautiful goal and led to the 1-0. So yes, it's a 1-0 defeat, but at the end of the day, I'm looking at it and I'm saying to myself, I'm taking away the negatives, I'm taking away the positives, and I'm looking at this and I'm saying we just need to make sure we drill ourselves better in that final third and go and get that left winger situation sorted, because both Martinelli and Trossard did not look up to scratch yet. And yeah, I think the thing is, Terry, people only take away positives when you have like a 5-0 win in a preseason game versus
mm.
Dundalk. But then when you lose 1-0 versus Spurs, it's like, oh my God, you're terrible. You're not going to win the league. It's not that serious. Once you
Again,
have
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
once you actually see the proper build up play and you see some of these guys all together working together, you're gonna understand. And the reason why our third preseason game might look shaky is because some of these guys haven't played with each other before. Some of these guys you've not seen some of these lineups before. All of a sudden, everything has to be magically better, and it's just ridiculous. It's just
to be
ridiculous.
honest, for me personally, I don't really care about the result. I'm just looking for the performances. And last game when
Mm.
Supermandy played from start to finish, pretty much,
We
it was
looked
pretty
good.
much it was the best football I've seen us play in a year. Pretty like I was extremely excited to watch it. And even when he came on today, I thought it was the differences between night and day. My like when I'm watching these preseason games and when I'm critiquing them, I'm thinking, okay, what are the problems that we're gonna have just based on them? And that like one of the two main problems I'm seeing for Arsenal at the moment, well, I'll say two because one of them is already solved. Like complaining about Kai Havertz, well, we don't really need to complain about him much anymore because let's face it, Gyökeres is. I still believe he's just gonna bang, and I was actually impressed with his performance today because I do think he was occupying that middle space and he can, I thought he was fine. I think the two main things for me problems is I don't think Norgard can play the way Arteta wants in terms of stylistically. In terms of I think Arteta really wants a technical six, and I think that's why he's been chasing Zubimendi for like 2 years. He like even before the Euros performance, he was chasing Zubimendi. So that, and I don't think Norgard could necessarily play that way. So I think that's something to think about. And the left wing, I didn't think it was. I thought it was a problem. Like after seeing this game, I feel like it's a bigger problem than I thought. That's my only worry in terms of like when I was complaining before about Martinelli, like I can't believe that he's just not playing well at all. So that's just a big worry for me personally.
Martinelli, at this point, I don't know what to do about Martinelli, but just get Eze in, get somebody else in that can play on the left hand side. And I know people say Eze is not a left winger, but the way where he operates in the pitch is exactly where we need somebody that left inside forward, like inside left 8 type, left 10 type situation, because that's what he does at Palace. And if you see at Arsenal, you have Declan Rice drifting out wide, you have our left backs drifting out wide, sometimes even our left centre back drifting out wide, passing balls in. So we don't necessarily have to have our winger being a touchline winger. But yeah, I don't know. Terry, you know one thing that's funny? A lot of the chat seem bothered that as an Arsenal fan, I'm okay with this result. What's wrong with you guys? Like, do you guys think I'm gonna sit here be yelling and screaming? Like, I'm confused.
It's as I said, I'm all for the. It's just banter. It's not real. It's not real analysis. They're just trying to wind you up, which is fair. It's part and parcel of it. If that makes sense. I don't.
But when did preseason matter so much, Terry? I'm confused.
It matters. It matters when certain teams lose and certain teams win.
Like Igal, they're not like let's be honest. Arsenal, we don't lose that much anymore. Like this is their shot. This is their chance. We're probably gonna lose like 2 or 3 games for the entire season. Like
No,
even if we like we just don't
in the
lose
league, maybe,
games. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like in the league, so it's like so every time we lose or draw, people are gonna just hop on us. It's just a thing.
Well,
like someone in the comments literally said that was your full squad. Like someone's literally saying that. Like, come on, that was your full team. Like that was your full strength team.
There's a comment here from Joey that says you will judge everyone else off preseason, but it's different when it comes to Arsenal hypocrites. But that's just again, I can't say what Cal and Igal have said on other channels, but here I've literally said the same thing about every team. The only team that I've said I'm being a little harsher on this year is I want to see Man United improve over preseason, so we're ready for the start of the season. My rationale for that is I just know what Arsenal can do. I know what Liverpool can do. I know what Chelsea can do. I know what City will do. And I think most of them will turn it on. So, Joey, this is where you've taken banter and you've turned it into a real serious point. I have not sat here and gone, Liverpool can't win the league now because they got beat on the counter-attack. There have been some people that have come on and said, oh, Van Dijk and the defense look vulnerable on them counter-attacks. They're dead. They're done. They're finished. I didn't agree with it. I said I said the complete opposite. So that's Terry, my only problem with your comments. They're not true.
But Terry, apparently mentioning the scoreline online is the equivalent of dead banter also now. I'm like, you can point out statistical facts and not be banter. Because what I said was Arsenal played AC Milan and resorted them to having 3 shots. They faced AC Milan and led to them conceding 4 goals. Right. And I'm just comparing the 2 preseason results. And that's where the grand conclusion came from Liverpool fans saying, oh my God, now Arsenal fans think they're better because they had a better game versus AC Milan.
Okay, so people are saying, Terry, they're talking about Igal, what Igal put on X. Well, then address the comment to Gal. Don't say you all. You all means you 3.
No, but that's what I said, Terry. Is there anything wrong with that? Mentioning a statistical fact between the 2 games.
Yeah, but this is the thing. You only did it because you were bantered for only narrowly beating them 1-0. This is what I don't get. If you're going to banter, turn up all the time and just accept the banter on your own. This is what I mean by people don't understand banter. If you're out with your mates, right, you've all got groups of friends. If you're going to banter your mate's haircut, his clothes, his shoes, his girlfriend, his mum, whatever levels you and your friends go to, you've got to take it back because you can't give it out. This is my issue with the social media world. People will banter Arsenal. They go then banter back. And then it'll be, well, now you have to accept that your defeat is ruining your season because you bantered us. Well, no, it was all banter, innit? So it's either all banter or we're taking it seriously.
But they don't understand the difference between banter and actual footballing discussions. That's the problem. They just take everything extremely seriously.
Yeah,
it's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, it's like there's a comment here that I know is a clear joke, right? That says, let's see how Terry colors this. Lol, it's only preseason. Terry's a fraud. I know that's just a joke because I know he watches my shows. He's always here. And I've said everybody's just preseason. Man United last night, I'm keeping my feet on the ground. I'm not getting carried away. Like Liverpool, when they lost to AC Milan, I literally said, I don't think this is the end of the world for them. In fact, I spent most of the time just talking about how good Wirtz looked Viets, sorry, and how brilliant he's going to be for them. So yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Terry Igal was chatting crap on Liverpool yesterday. Yes, because Liverpool fans chatted crap on Arsenal for just narrowly winning 1-0.
Terry,
come
that's
on.
not even true. I wasn't chatting crap. I just simply said, who's going to play Liverpool's left wing if all these guys are being signed? Who's going to play striker? Where are all of them going to play? And how is the team going to be working with a new system, new players?
That's
and
a fair question.
There's a lot of questions to be asked. All of a sudden, this is talking crap.
But
this is legitimate football conversation.
Maradon asked this question about 3 weeks ago. Well, where's Ahmad playing if you're bringing in Mbumo? Same difference. See what I mean? People like.
I mean, Husam's literally been
weirdos.
Husam's been literally arguing on like straight facts and everything, always saying you can't sign Rodrigo and Eze. Where will Eze play? Where will Rodrigo play? It's like
I know.
What I'm saying?
We are on about you. Were on about Igal and Goons. We are all on about you. You were. But again, can't you guys see that it's tit for tat on Twitter and it's a bit of banter and it's a bit of, well, you said this about my team. I'm going to say this about yours. It's either join in with the banter or drop it, please. Whenever I hear Martinelli criticism, I blame Arteta's system more than the player. His tunnel vision works centrally. He isn't a touchline winger, especially against low blocks, more like Arteta's tunnel vision.
He does play well for Brazil.
This is like the worst Brazil team we've ever seen.
I know, but I've seen Martinelli play for Brazil and be like one of those guys who takes people on and just continuously just gets the ball and takes people on and doesn't like play how he plays at Arsenal. But so it could be on Arteta. I do hear it.
I don't think so, because I think when I see other players take people on consistently, when I see Trossard would take on his man more than him, like on the right hand side, Saka takes on his man more than him. When Neri would take on his man more than him. Now Max Daumann is taking on his man more than him. I don't think I'm seeing all these players like beat their man, and then he's telling Martinelli, you know what? I want you to run on the touchline, attempt to beat your man, and then pass back instead. I don't think that's happening.
I think Martinelli is much better than what he's performing for us, and I'm not willing to give up on him. I think if he was to be sold, he would potentially explode somewhere else. He's still very young, and I think he's extremely talented. So I don't think Arteta's the problem, but I do think the way that where he's being asked to play right now might not be best to his skill set.
I mean, if he's not a 1v1 guy, then I don't think he can play for us on that side, because that's essentially what we're trying to do. We're always trying to isolate our guy on that left-hand side 1v1. And maybe he isn't that type of person.
If we played a faster game and he was a counter-attacking player and he got balls in behind, he would do much better.
Yeah. So basically Alaga.
This here says what matters are the questions managers ask and the answers he gets, not winning, i.e. can X and Y play together, etc., and what can and will they learn? Yeah, look, I think that's very, very key indeed. And this is the thing about the analysis on this show so far. There's been criticisms, there's been elements people aren't worried about. You know, I've seen like Staffy and everyone else do the whole 2 touches in 20 minutes. Welcome to Arteta ball. Arsenal fans have got to realize that people like Staffy they half mean it, but it's banterous. But it's like, I'm going to put that out there, and if he ends up flopping, I can run with the narrative. If he ends up doing really, really well, they won't talk about it anymore. And it is what it is. I didn't think too much of it. Most strikers don't get very many touches of the ball when there's a low block and you're in the last 15 minutes of a preseason game where their fitness isn't high. But some people are going to, again, look at the 007 stuff. Started with Jadon Sancho in the season. People start the 007 count in preseason now.
I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen that.
It's just
people are counting. It's crazy.
And by the way, Staffy, before you go in my DMs or at me and cry, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with what you're doing. It's obvious. That's all. Arteta have Daumann doing back passes already. Well,
stop it. Get over yourself.
Are you kidding?
Backwards. I am not saying Martinelli doesn't have his limitations, but knowing that we have all seen them, that there is limitations. He works better in the center than the left, especially against low blocks. Well, but that's why you're going for Eze and why you've bought Madueke. I think you guys are sort of forgetting that's why you've done these things. And that's the only... I'm not even defending Arteta. I was putting out none of your new signings were either in the squad or started today. So that's why I'm not making any overarching judgments just
Is your
yet.
fan base as reactionary as mine, Terry? If you
Well,
have
yes.
if you have 45 minutes of poor football, it's like everything's good.
Maybe worse. After the Leeds game, people like Staffy said our manager's getting sacked. It ain't going to work. After last night, that's his group. After another group last night, a different group are talking about winning the league after looking good. Massively polarizing, but massively overreactionary. Now, sometimes you're right. Sometimes your overreaction ends up coming off, right? There are some times where you're like, you might say to your wife, we're going to be late if we don't leave now. And you might be exaggerating to get her out the door. You might end up being late. Didn't mean when you said it, you really meant it. I just think there's a lot to learn. And some people are going to get guesses right. Some people are going to get predictions right. But yeah, there's a massive polarization and overreaction in our fan base. For instance, I think Staffy was someone that was like, we're shit at negotiating. We should have just sold Gyökeres when Inter Milan offered us £10 million. It now transpires there's a possibility that we get a massive amount of money off the Šeško deal and don't lose anything on Højlund. Therefore, it's like, well, we were right to be patient. We all do it. I do it as well. We all overreact at times. It's just about having a conversation.
Would you rather have a tough preseason and see all your flaws, or just have a breeze and play a bunch of Dundorks and like
I don't care. What I care about is that we start the season well, the actual season well. So the point is, if we lose 5-0 to Dundalk FCs and Limericks and nobodies, and then go on and win our first 10 games of the season, I don't care about preseason.
But Terry, I'm asking about the fact, comparing it to our situation where we're both playing a lot of Premier League teams and a lot of...
I hear you. No, I hear you. But for me, it doesn't really matter. It matters what then happens when you play. And again, United and Arsenal play each other. So this is the crazy part, right? Doesn't matter how good your preseason is or how bad it is or how good as or how bad as is, right? Doesn't really matter. One of us is going to get bantered on the opening day of the season. No matter how good it is, because one of us is probably going to lose, right? So
that game,
I told you, it's all a
just
setup.
the build up for the game. It's like
just
both of our preseasons is like the head losses already started, and like the build up to that game is.
I want to see Man United improve it during preseason. I want to see some patterns. I want to see some fitness. I want to see some things that are there. But by and large, I've seen brilliant preseasons, and we've been crap. I've seen average preseasons, and I've seen us win league titles in the past. So it's the preseason results are not the most important thing. Victor Gyökeres runs like chunks. Who thought, I think it means thought, playing the North London derby in preseason was a good idea. Listen,